Welcome to our video. In this video, I'll be covering all about the unit of Foundations of Psychological Science. In this video, you'll be getting to know about all the assessment that comes under this unit, the weightage of all these assessments. Along with that, you'll be knowing how to approach all these assessments to secure good marks. So you'll be learning the importance, that is the weightage, also the ways in which you have to attempt these assessments. So please stay tuned. So I'll begin by introducing the unit to you that it is primarily designed for the students who want to conduct the scientific study of human processes, human behavior and mental processes. So if you want to study the psychology behind human behavior and mental processes, then this unit is for you. So if I do a breakdown, there are three types of students for which this unit is designed. First is psychology students who are either doing their bachelor's or majors in the field of psychology. Second is students needing electives, students who are from different courses and different fields, but they want to know about everything about psychology and the research designs that are employed in the field of psychology. उनके लिए ये course है. And the third type of students are who want to and are willing to conduct evidence-based practice in the field of psychology. जो research करना चाहते हैं in the field of psychology, उनके लिए ये course है. So I begin with the assessment one that comes under this unit. So before that, we can talk about the broad and the specific topics that this unit covers. So the broad topics that are covered in this unit is research, design, statistics, ethical practice, and the relationship between research and practice. So you'll be learning about everything about research, that what research design is employed in the field of psychology. So for example, if you know the basics of psychology, but you don't know how to apply that in the field of research, then this unit will make you learn about all the research designs that is suitable for the field of psychology. If I come to specific research topics, that will be the nature of evidence in psychology, the relationship between psychological research and practice, experimental, quasi-experimental, non-experimental, quantitative research. So everything that is the type of research environments that needed to be built according to the live scenario or in psychology. So you'll be learning that according to this scenario, this experimental group is suitable, or this research method is suitable, or this research design is suitable. So this entire unit will be focusing on making the students learn what type of research design is suitable for what type of scenario in psychology. So this is the entire aim of this unit. So if I talk about attendance, the attendance is optional for this unit. Seminars are optional and there is no in-person attendance requirement. This unit is designed to introduce students to core principle required to be an evidence-based practitioner in psychology. So now we are coming up to assessment one. So assessment one is a research design worksheet in which you need to enter everything about what your research is all about. So you'll be entering, you'll be given a worksheet and you need to describe what your research question is, what your research design is, what is your independent and dependent variable, what type of experiment are you conducting, what type of participants will be there in your experiment. So this inculcates that you need to be very sure about what is your research topic and what are you going to do with that research topic. So this is the first assessment that comes under this unit, and this holds 30% weightage. That is a majority weightage under this unit. So you need to write the research question, study design, deciding if you want to do experimental research, that you are manipulating variables, or non-experimental, that you are just observing and you're conducting surveys with people and recording their answers. Then variables, dependent variables and independent variables, who will be studied, the participants, the methods, how is your data collected in your research. You need to enter all of this in a form of worksheet and submit on your online portal as a student. So this is the first assessment. So I have pasted a question, a task that can be considered like an example for you for assessment 1. That is, what is the research question you will address? What research design related to will you implement? So such questions you will be given in your worksheet 1. Second is factorial design worksheet. This is the assessment 2. So while you list all of your dependent and independent variable, you will be also asked to conduct and form a graph in the form of 2 by 2 columns in order to interpret the impact of each variable on the other variables. Also the impact of one variable on the entire scenario, also the interaction between two variables, and this can be easily shown by a graph. So what do you need to do in this worksheet? You should be having different factors, that is the independent variables being manipulated, the levels, the variation of the impact of each factors, the main effect, the overall impact of that one factor, and the interaction effects, that what is the level of interaction between the two variables. So now if I'll be giving you one example here. So if you see in the question 4, that there is a parallel line between B1 and B2. What does signify? This is a factor diagram. This shows that the mean of A1 is 4, which is the midpoint of 2 and 6. What is the mean of 2? A2, that is also 4 because it is also a midpoint of 2 and 6. That shows that is there a main effect of A? Null, because the mean of both A1 and A2 is equal. Is there a main effect of B? That is also no, because the mean of A1 and A2 is same, that is 4. Also, while we look at the interaction between A and B, that is also, you can see that there is a flat and a straight line on B1 and B2 that depicts that the overall impact of A1 and A2 on B1, A1 and A2 on B2 is same. So there is no as such interaction between the variables. This is a different topic on factorial design that I can easily explain it to you in the further videos. If you have any such queries, you can show in the comments, you can list in the comments. So this is, I'm just depicting you an example of a factorial design worksheet that you will be needed to draw in your assessment 2, that is your factorial design worksheet. You will be asked to design such factorial designs in order to pick the interaction between the variables and the overall effect of each variable in your research design. And this is the main purpose of this assessment. And this assessment holds 15% weightage. The next assessment is the research evaluation end-to-end, which holds 20% weightage. So what is the exact purpose of this assessment? This assessment focuses on applying scientific principles to evaluate research, often involving identifying research questions, evaluating methodologies, interpreting results, and understanding ethical considerations in studies, with typical questions asking you to critically analyze provided research articles or scenarios. What does this mean? You will be given a scenario, be asked that what is the research design employed by the researchers in this scenario. You will be asked what are the potential threats to privacy or to ethics in this scenario. So you will be given a type of a scenario, research scenario, and you will be needing to mention the research design, the independent variable, the dependent variable, or any other potential risk that needs to be curbed in order to ensure the ethics in the research. So this types of question will be given in this assessment tree in order to evaluate your knowledge on the core principles of psychology. got to know that in the assessment 3, you will be given a scenario and you need to find the exact research design or sample or the dependent or independent variable that are employed in the scenario. You need to extract the information from the given scenario. So I'll be giving you here an example of what type of question you can expect in your assessment 3. So for example, a scenario is given to you. In an effort to improve trust in doctors at my local hospital, I started a weekly Meet Your Doctors question answer session. I randomly invite half of the patients at my hospital to attend those weekly sessions. The other half are not invited and are not eligible to attend. They are my control group. I administer a trust in doctors measures to all patients at the hospital at the conclusion of the weekly questionnaire sessions to compare level of trust between groups. Because I have access to patients' files, I can identify which of the patients at the weekly meetings and which of the patients in my control group had a pre-existing mental illness that was known to the hospital. This allows me to compare the efficacy of these weekly separately for people with and without a diagnosed mental illness. So you have been given a scenario here wherein an individual is trying to increase the trust between the doctors and the patients, and what is the treatment or what is the an innovation that he has done here is that he has tried to conduct weekly question and answer session between the doctors and the patients. So here he is saying that I randomly employ the participants that will be going in that question answer session, and other patients will be held as a control group. So here the word randomly implies that it is a true experiment, because the person here also mentions that some of the patients are dealing with mental illness. So despite this non-manipulating variable, because this cannot be manipulated, that some patients are dealing with mental illness, but despite this factor, the person is randomly employing the participants in the questionnaire session. So this is a true experiment. So the next option that is given to you is person by treatment quasi experiment. So what is person by treatment quasi experiment? For example, in this scenario, I would have chosen people who are not dealing with mental illness and then placed in the questionnaire session, and in my control group were all those people who were dealing with mental illness. Then it would have been person by quasi experiment, because I employed the participants in the question answer session not randomly. But when it is randomly, it is a true experiment. So such scenarios will be given to you in your assessment 3. Now, and this holds 20% of the weightage. So what are the key assessed through this assessment? Research, design and methodology. You learn how to evaluate sample size, recruitment validity. You learn how to do statistical interpretation. Your critical thinking ability increases. Also, you learn how to apply your research findings, your what you have learned about statistics to broader psychological concepts or real world applications. So this is what assessment 3 holds. So this assessment 4 is plain language statement, which is 15%, which has 15% weightage. In this, you need to write a document explaining your study to a participant in simple and non-scientific terms. So while you write this worksheet, this statement, you need to know that this statement is for the participants who will be participating in your research. So the language should be very simple. You should not be using any jargons or any scientific terms while you are writing this statement. So the essential statements, essential areas that your PLS, your plain language statements should contain is introduction, that what is the research about, what is being done, what will be the participant role, what exactly will participant be asked for, the time and location, how long will it take and when will it happen, the risk and benefits of participating in the research, the confidentiality in data storage, because it is very important for ethical considerations to make your participants aware that the information that they are giving in the research process will only be used for the research process and will not be leaked, and it is to be ensured that they voluntarily participate in your research. So this statement needs to be provided by you to the online portal, and this has 15% weightage, and it is to be ensured by you, the students, that it is done in plain and simple language and there should be no jargons. And the final exams is 20%. This can be in the form of exam or similar weighted quizzes. So this is those all about the assessments that come under this unit. If you have any such query related to these assessments, or you want to learn about any concept that was covered under these assessments, please write down in the comments. I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much.